Hey everyone, listen up, because this right here is going to change the game for you. You ever wonder why your messages get ignored, why people don't respond with the same energy you put in? It's because you're playing it safe. You're blending in. Hi, how are you? That's what everybody says. And guess what? It gets everybody ignored. Most people operate on autopilot when they communicate. They send the same messages, use the same greetings, and wonder why they're not getting the reactions they want. When you text someone, "Hi, how are you?" you're sending a signal that requires no thought, no excitement, no emotion. It blends in with the thousands of other messages they've received that sound exactly the same. That's the problem. You're fitting into a pattern, and when people can predict exactly what's coming, they don't feel the need to engage. If you want someone to notice you, you need to break the pattern. You need to interrupt their routine. The human brain is wired to detect novelty. It filters out what it expects and pays attention to what's different. That's why when you hear your name in a crowded room, you instantly turn your head. It's why an unexpected sound grabs your attention faster than the constant hum of background noise. Your brain is scanning for something out of the ordinary, something that forces it to engage. This applies to communication as well. If you want someone to respond to you with energy, you have to hit them with something that disrupts their normal flow of interaction. Think about the last time someone caught you off guard with a message. Maybe they sent a voice note instead of a text. Maybe they referenced an inside joke. Maybe they asked you something so direct and unexpected that you had no choice but to reply. That's what makes a message stand out. It creates a moment of surprise. It demands attention. And attention is the foundation of attraction, influence, and connection. If you want to be unforgettable, you have to start by making sure your words don't disappear into the background noise of everyday life. This isn't about being outrageous or saying something inappropriate just to get a reaction. It's about being intentional with your words. Instead of sending a predictable message, try leading with something that creates intrigue. Instead of, "Hi, how are you?" send, "You won't believe what I just found out." Instead of, "What's up?" send, "I need your opinion on something crazy." These messages create a sense of curiosity. They make the other person pause and think, "Wait, what is this about?" That moment of intrigue is all it takes to shift the energy. People respond to emotions, not routine. If you can make them feel something, excitement, nostalgia, surprise, or even humor, you immediately separate yourself from everyone else in their inbox. And the best part? It's not difficult. It just requires a shift in how you approach communication. Stop looking at conversations as transactions and start seeing them as experiences. Give people a reason to engage. Make it fun, make it unpredictable, make it something they look forward to. Breaking the pattern isn't just about standing out, it's about shifting the dynamic of your interactions. The moment you change the way you communicate, you change the way people respond to you. Most people don't even realize they're stuck in a cycle of boring, forgettable conversations. They send messages out of habit, not intention. They assume the other person isn't responding because they're busy or uninterested, but the truth is, they're simply uninspired. If you want people to light up when they see your name pop up, you have to give them a reason to. And that starts with breaking the pattern. People don't remember words, they remember how those words made them feel. Every interaction, every conversation, every message you send is an opportunity to create an emotional response, yet most people go through life communicating in a way that is flat, predictable, and forgettable. They send messages that don't evoke anything real, anything powerful, anything that makes the other person stop and feel something. That's why their conversations go nowhere. If you want people to engage with you, if you want them to want to talk to you, you have to trigger emotion. Human beings are emotional creatures. Every decision we make, every action we take is driven by how we feel in the moment. This means that if your words don't create a feeling, excitement, curiosity, nostalgia, humor, then they have no impact. And when something has no impact, it gets ignored. Think about the messages that have made you stop in your tracks. Maybe it was an unexpected compliment that caught you off guard. Maybe it was a story that made you laugh. Maybe it was something mysterious that sparked curiosity. The common thread is that they made you feel something. That's the key to standing out in a world where everyone is just going through the motions. Most people communicate with logic, but connection is built through emotion. Instead of sending messages that sound like everyone else, start thinking about how you can make them feel something. Instead of saying, "Hey, how's it going?" try something that immediately shifts their mood. If you want to make someone smile, send them a memory of a moment you shared together. If you want to make them curious, Say something that leaves them wanting more. If you want to make them laugh, send something playful and unexpected. The more emotion you trigger, the more invested they become in the conversation. One of the fastest ways to create an emotional response is through surprise. When something is predictable, it doesn't trigger an emotional shift. But when something catches us off guard in a positive way, it creates a spark. That's why people love unexpected compliments, inside jokes, or playful challenges. It's why a text that says, "You're not going to believe what just happened," will always get a response. It instantly creates curiosity, anticipation, and engagement. The person receiving it needs to know what comes next, and that's the moment you've captured their attention. Another powerful tool for triggering emotion is storytelling. People are wired to respond to stories because they activate the imagination and create a sense of connection. Instead of starting a conversation with a dull question, start with a short, engaging story. Say something like, "I just had the weirdest experience, and I need your thoughts on this." The moment you frame a message as a story, you pull the other person in. They're not just answering a question, they're stepping into an experience with you, and experiences create emotions. Playfulness is another underestimated way to make people feel something instantly. A playful message disrupts the expected rhythm of communication and makes interactions feel effortless and fun. Instead of saying, "How was your day?" try, "If today was a movie, what genre would it be?" Instead of "What's up?" try, "Tell me something exciting that happened today." Even if you have to make it up, these small shifts take an ordinary conversation and turn it into something engaging. People are drawn to those who make them feel good, and playful interactions create a natural sense of connection. Emotion is the foundation of every strong relationship, whether it's personal, professional, or romantic. The conversations that stick with people are the ones that made them feel something real. The words you choose determine whether your message gets ignored or whether it sparks excitement. When you understand that communication is not just about exchanging information, but about creating emotion, you unlock a completely different level of connection with people. Most people think that starting a conversation is just about saying something, anything to get the other person's attention. But the truth is, words alone don't create connection. What makes someone want to respond, what makes them feel compelled to engage, is the feeling that the message is meant specifically for them. People crave attention, validation, and significance. The moment they feel like you're genuinely interested in them as an individual, everything changes. That's why personalizing your message is one of the most powerful ways to make an impact. It transforms a generic interaction into something meaningful, and when people feel that kind of energy, they can't ignore it. Most conversations fail before they even begin because they feel robotic. A message like, "Hey, how's it going?" or "What's up?" doesn't create any emotional spark because it's what people say to everyone. It doesn't feel special, it doesn't stand out, it doesn't give the other person any reason to feel like they matter. But the moment you send something that references a specific detail about them, their interest, their personality, something they recently did, you immediately break through the noise. It signals that you're paying attention. And when people feel seen, they respond. Think about the last time someone brought up something specific about you in a conversation. Maybe they remembered your favorite food and recommended a restaurant you'd love. Maybe they asked about a project you were working on or followed up on something you mentioned weeks ago. That feeling of being remembered is powerful. It's what creates warmth, connection, and trust. It's what makes people feel drawn to you. And yet, so many people overlook this simple way to stand out. They rely on surface-level conversation starters instead of digging a little deeper to make a real impact. One of the easiest ways to personalize your message is to reference something recent. If you saw them post about a trip, ask them about the best part. If they just started a new job, mention how exciting that must be. If they're passionate about something, fitness, music, books, bring it up in a way that sparks conversation. Instead of saying, "Hey, how have you been?" say, "I saw you finally got to visit that place you were talking about. Was it everything you expected?" That slight shift changes everything. It immediately makes the conversation engaging because it's about them. It gives them something to respond to that actually matters to them. Another powerful way to personalize your message is to make an observation. People love when someone picks up on little details about them that they didn't expect anyone to notice. It could be something as simple as, "You always have the best music recommendations. What's a song I need to hear right now?" Or, "You've got this crazy ability to always know the best places to eat. What's your latest favorite spot?" These types of messages make the other person feel valued. They create a natural flow of conversation because they aren't just about exchanging words, they're about reinforcing identity. They make the person feel interesting. And that's what makes them want to keep talking to you. Humor is another underrated way to personalize a message. If you have an inside joke with someone, bring it back up. If you know they love a particular movie or TV show, make a playful reference. If you remember a funny moment you shared, bring it up with a fresh spin. Laughter is one of the fastest ways to create a sense of connection. And when you make someone laugh, they immediately associate positive emotions with you. Instead of starting a conversation with, "Hey, try something," that instantly triggers a smile. It makes all the difference. Personalized connection isn't about overthinking your words or crafting the perfect message. It's about paying attention. It's about making people feel seen. When you do that, conversations stop feeling like a struggle. They become effortless because the other person actually wants to engage. The more you make it about them, their experiences, their interests, their emotions, the more magnetic your presence becomes. Most people struggle to get the attention they want because they're saying the same things as everyone else. They think starting a conversation is just about getting a reply, but that's not enough. A response isn't the goal. Excitement is. Curiosity is. The key to making someone engage with you in a way that actually leads to a real connection is by using bold statements. Words that shake things up, words that make people stop and feel something, words that pull them in and make them think, "Wait, what? I need to know more." That's the difference between being ignored and making an impact. Most messages get skipped over because they don't create any urgency. When someone gets a text that says, "Hey," or "How's it going?" there's nothing in it that makes them feel like they need to reply now. There's no emotion, no curiosity, nothing that triggers a reaction. They might respond later or they might forget about it entirely. But when you send something that instantly makes them wonder, "What's this about?" you've already won half the battle. Curiosity is one of the strongest psychological triggers, and when you use it right, people can't ignore you. One way to use bold statements is by starting with something unexpected. Instead of asking a question, make a confident statement that makes them want to engage. Instead of saying, "What are you up to?" try, "You won't believe what just happened." Instead of, "How's your day?" try, "I just found out something crazy and you need to hear this." The moment you introduce a sense of mystery, you create an open loop in their mind. They have to find out what comes next, which means they'll reply just to close that loop. Another way to grab attention is by using playful challenges. People love a little competition, and when you present something in a way that feels like a game, they're much more likely to engage. Instead of a basic greeting, try something like, "I bet you can't guess what just happened to me," or "I have a theory about you, but I need to test it first." These kinds of messages make conversations fun from the start. They create energy, and energy is what keeps people coming back for more. Using bold statements isn't about being dramatic for no reason. It's about making sure your words carry weight. People respond to confidence. When you send a message that's direct and full of energy, it shifts the entire dynamic. Instead of seeming like you're waiting for their attention, you command it. A message like, "You're not ready for what I'm about to tell you," has way more impact than, "Can I tell you something?" because it carries a sense of authority. It doesn't ask for permission, it demands attention. That slight shift in wording makes all the difference. Humor is another powerful way to make bold statements. If you can make someone laugh, you immediately create a positive association in their mind. Instead of saying, "Hope you're having a good day," try something playful like, "I just had the weirdest moment and you're the only person who can appreciate it." This approach works because it combines curiosity with entertainment. People want to feel good, and if your message gives them a reason to smile, they'll always be more excited to respond. Confidence in your words translates to confidence in your presence. When you send messages that feel strong, intriguing, and different, people naturally gravitate toward you. They can feel the difference between someone who is just sending words and someone who actually knows how to create an experience. The moment you stop blending in and start using bold statements, you shift the way people see you. They no longer see you as just another conversation. They see you as someone they want to talk to. Most people don't realize how powerful a little mystery can be. They give everything away too quickly, lay all their cards on the table, and wonder why the other person loses interest. The truth is, when something is too predictable, it becomes easy to overlook. But when you introduce a sense of scarcity or mystery, you instantly become more intriguing. The human brain craves resolution, and when something feels incomplete, we are wired to seek out the missing pieces. This is why movies end on cliffhangers, why books keep readers hooked until the final chapter, and why people are naturally drawn to what feels just out of reach. When you say everything up front, you leave nothing to be discovered. There's no sense of anticipation, no reason for the other person to stay engaged. But when you hold back just a little, when you hint at something without revealing it all, you create a gap in their mind that they need to fill. This is where curiosity takes over. Instead of feeling like they have control over the interaction, they now feel a pull toward figuring out what you mean. That shift in dynamic is what makes people chase rather than just respond. A simple way to use mystery in conversation is by making statements that spark curiosity. Instead of saying, "I had an interesting day," say, "Something happened today that I can't stop thinking about." Instead of "Guess what?" say, "I probably shouldn't even tell you this, but." That slight shift creates a sense of exclusivity, like the other person is getting access to something not everyone knows. This taps into human nature. People want to feel like they're being let in on something special. They want to know what others don't. Scarcity works in the same way. When something feels too available, it's easy to take for granted. But when it seems rare, it instantly becomes more valuable. This is why luxury brands limit their products, why people rush to buy something that's labeled limited edition, and why we want things more when we feel like we can't have them. The same concept applies to communication. If you're always the one reaching out, always available, always quick to reply, the other person never has a chance to miss you. But when you create space, when you don't always answer right away, when you keep a little mystery around what you're doing, you become more intriguing. One way to apply this is by being intentional with how much you reveal. If someone asks what you're up to, instead of listing everything, leave some room for curiosity. Instead of "just working, nothing exciting," say, "Let's just say today took an unexpected turn." That slight ambiguity makes the other person want to know more. If you're always giving complete answers, there's no reason for the conversation to continue. But when you leave gaps, people naturally want to fill them. Energy is another factor. When someone feels like they always have full access to you, they start taking that energy for granted. But when you shift the dynamic, when they start feeling like they need to work for your attention, changes everything. The key isn't to play games, but to make sure your presence has value. If you're always available, it signals that you have nothing else going on. But when you balance engagement with a little distance, it signals that your time is something worth earning. The goal is to create interactions that leave the other person wanting more. The most interesting people aren't the ones who say everything at once. They're the ones who know how to create anticipation. They know how to introduce just enough mystery to keep things exciting. The moment you learn to hold back a little, to leave some space for curiosity, and to let others feel the pull of wanting more, you change the way people see you. Most people approach conversations with the wrong mindset. They think the goal is to get a response, but that's a low bar. A response is passive. It's an obligation, a formality. What you really want is investment. You want the other person to engage in a way that feels natural, exciting, and effortless. That only happens when you shift the focus away from what you're saying and onto how you're making them feel. When people feel something in a conversation, excitement, curiosity, amusement, nostalgia, they want to stay engaged. They aren't just replying out of politeness. They're replying because they're genuinely drawn in. One of the fastest ways to create this kind of engagement is by making your messages open-ended. A question like, "How are you?" doesn't create momentum because it's too broad and too easy to dismiss with a one-word answer. But when you ask something specific that requires thought, you invite the other person into a real conversation. Instead of "How was your weekend?" try "What was the best part of your weekend?" Instead of "What's new?" try "Tell me something interesting that happened to you this week." These subtle changes make a massive difference because they force the brain to search for a meaningful response. People love talking about themselves, but they love it even more when they feel like someone is genuinely interested in what they have to say. The easiest way to show that interest is by asking follow-up questions. When someone shares something, don't just acknowledge it, expand on it. If they tell you they just started a new job, don't stop at "That's great." Instead, ask, "What's been the most surprising part so far?" If they mention a favorite hobby, ask, "How did you get into that?" These small shifts make the conversation feel organic rather than forced. Momentum also comes from mirroring energy. If the other person is excited about something, match that excitement. If they're joking around, lean into the humor. Conversations lose energy when one person is bringing enthusiasm and the other is responding with neutral or short replies. The more you match their vibe, the more effortless the exchange feels. People don't remember exact words. They remember how they felt during an interaction. When a conversation feels natural, fun, or even slightly unpredictable, they associate that positive energy with you. Another key to keeping momentum is to avoid dead-end responses. If someone asks how your day is going, don't just say good or busy. Use it as an opportunity to create engagement. Instead of busy, say, crazy busy, but I just had the funniest thing happen. Remind me to tell you. Instead of good, say, good, but I had a moment today that made me question everything. These types of answers create intrigue, giving the other person something to latch onto. Inside jokes and callbacks are another powerful tool. If there's something funny or memorable from a past conversation, bring it up again. It creates a sense of familiarity and strengthens the connection. When people feel like they have a shared history with you, even in small ways, the bond grows stronger. It makes the conversation feel unique instead of generic. Pacing also matters. If you respond instantly to every message, it removes the natural flow of anticipation. But if you wait too long, it kills the energy. The goal is to keep the rhythm dynamic, sometimes responding quickly to create excitement, sometimes pausing to build a little curiosity. The balance between engagement and space keeps things interesting. When a conversation has momentum, it stops feeling like an exchange of words and starts feeling like an experience. That's what keeps people engaged. The more you focus on creating energy, curiosity, and emotional connection, the more effortlessly people will be drawn to talking to you.